Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, arrested for domestic violence, felony domestic violence, after an incident with a woman at a very fancy apartment building in the Los Angeles area. We're going to kind of recount what the allegations are, at least what we know, and then...
And what the consequences could be for Avenatti, even before his actual case, but how it relates to President Trump and to Stormy Daniels.
So it started out late Tuesday night, just before midnight. According to the alleged victim, this woman, she was in their apartment and it got violent. We don't know the specifics in terms of what was said, what was exactly done. We do know that she told police that he beat her, brutalized her, and the next day we spoke with an eyewitness who saw her. Now, this again doesn't mean he did it, but this person saw her, and she had swollen cheeks. She had marks on both cheeks.
And was wearing large sunglasses.
Large sunglasses. Right. What happened was she, according to our law enforcement sources, she was basically kicked out of their apartment that night, Tuesday night, came back on Wednesday to retrieve her belongings, called the police because she was fearful. Police came and they were kind of waiting in the back, and somebody I spoke to saw her standing on the sidewalk in the front on the phone, presumably with Avenatti, saying, and this is a quote that the eyewitness heard, "I can't believe you did this to me. I can't believe you did this to me. I'm getting a restraining order against you." The security in the building saw her, brought her inside and then up the elevator, presumably so she could get her belongings. At that point, Avenatti comes into the lobby and trying to get upstairs. They wouldn't let him upstairs, and then the police come in and they talk to him, and he is screaming that he said, "She hit me first, she hit me first." This is according to this eyewitness who I spoke with. And then he said, "This is bull blank." And they talked to him for about 5 minutes and arrested him.
And then arrested him, and they took him in. He posted bail a few hours later, and when he walked out, he immediately wanted to address the allegations.
I have never struck a woman. I never will strike a woman. I have been an advocate for women's rights my entire career, and I'm going to continue to be an advocate. I am not going to be intimidated from stopping what I am doing. I am looking forward to a full investigation, at which point I am confident that I will be fully exonerated.
And guys, actually Stormy Daniels came out this morning and she spoke to the investigation part as well. She said, obviously these are serious allegations. I know Michael. I believe that investigation needs to take place. I know it will, and I know he'll fully cooperate. If he is charged and this turns out to be true, I will look for new representation.
So,
that's interesting to say the least. Now, again, look.
And she's raised a good point. They are allegations.
And you got to say, this, look, our system, and I think people have just forgotten this too much. Our system is innocent until proven guilty. That's what it's supposed to be. And so what we can factually say is that she made a police report, she alleged brutality, and he got arrested.
There was enough evidence in there where, with the release last night, the detectives went out. It wasn't patrol guys, it was detectives that got it, and they thought there was enough that they actually went and arrested him, which is very interesting, because usually sometimes they'll take the report, and we've seen it get submitted to the DA and so forth, and they could charge it, and then you have to appear.
Well, remember,
this time they went out and they got him.
We should be clear. One, he hasn't been charged. He was
he has not been charged.
He's just been arrested.
And the allegation was strong enough that the detectives went out and arrested him.
Right, but it's not strong enough that they've immediately charged him. I mean,
because he bailed out.
There's two ways to look at that.
He bailed out, because usually, the police arrest and they go to the DA, and the DA is the one that charges.
I think what Jason's trying to say, Dennis, is that the allegation is serious enough, and we know this, in a domestic violence, an alleged domestic violence situation, if there is an allegation, and it's a serious allegation, they're going to arrest the person.
Two things: an allegation, and if you see injury marks.
She had physical marks,
but
which
Dennis,
brings it up.
As you know, Dennis, that doesn't necessarily prove that he did it.
No, it doesn't. But there's enough with her allegation, and then the marks. That's enough to get arrested.
That's absolutely
and then it'll get sorted out in court.
And that's exactly where we are.
So anyway, that's where we are in this. I thought Stormy Daniels' comment was interesting. She's, by the way, at Oxford today.
Yes.
Speaking at Oxford.
She's speaking at Oxford University.
Oxford in England?
Yes. Yes.
The Oxford?
The Oxford.
The Stormy?
Yes, she is there. And by the way, we know that during her speech, she did not mention Michael Avenatti, refused to talk about President Trump. She was purely there to talk about porn. And
can I say what's interesting about that? You know who else talked about porn in that very room? Who? Pamela Anderson. She actually,
That's right. She
Pamela
did.
Anderson,
That's right.
because she was talking about porn is destroying sexual relations in the world.
Well, Stormy is there preaching the other side. So it's fair and balanced.
So there we are.
Hi, Heather calling from New Jersey. Domestic violence is no joke, and I hope that the investigation goes correctly. And if he needs to be charged, then he needs to be charged, because no one should lay their hands on anyone in the improper way. It's no joke, domestic violence. So if he's charged, then he's charged. He deserves it, honestly.
Yeah.